Did you know that there are 3 stages to every zodiac sign? So if you feel like your sun sign doesn't evolve as you're evolving, it's probably because you're in one of the 3 stages. If you're a Scorpio, listen up. All right, Scorpio, let's talk about your 3 stages. And your first stage being the Scorpion. So I'm going to go ahead and get the cat out of the bag. All Scorpios are born survivors, whether they have to survive something early on in life or it's later, and it can be emotional, it can be physical, it can be even as much as like trying to fit in. It basically on the scale of like tragedy, there's something there. There's always some sense of needing to survive and needing to protect yourself. That happens with a Scorpio. And in the Scorpion stage, this is where their innate passion and their innate instincts and them knowing what they want is very present. The one thing about a Scorpio is that they know what they do and what they don't want. And they also are very true to who they are. They are the sign that truly does incorporate the dark and the light. Now, do they tend to kind of sit more into like the dark gray area? Yes, they do. But this is because this is where they're trying to discover who it is that they are, what it is that they believe, and how they can basically make that happen for themselves. And in the Scorpion stage, this is where they are seeking satisfaction, which brings success. So what do I do that makes me feel good? What do I do that I know that's going to make me abundant? This is where they're really leaning into the feels of like what makes me feel good, what is good. This also helps them determine like situations where it comes into love. Most Scorpios develop some sense of like young love or deep passion or deep feelings early on in life, whether that's like a love for an animal or love for a parent or a partner or a passion or a cause or something to that degree. Scorpios always find something that seeds really deep in them. And in their Scorpion stage, Scorpios go around not thinking that they have a stinger or not thinking that they are a scorpion. They're like, I'm cuddly and I'm fluffy and I want to love you and you want to love me. And we're very open and innocent, even though there's still this thing behind them about like, I don't know if I can trust this. Like there's always this second guessing innate ability. They're like, I'm fluffy and I'm this. And, you know, they don't understand that they have a stinger, but that stinger is here for protection. It's not there to do anything other than to protect themselves. And when they finally discover like, hey, I have a stinger because I need to protect themselves, is where we get into the second stage. And what normally causes a Scorpio to go into the second stage is they are not getting the success that they want. They either have a really bad or failed relationship or something really traumatic happening or happen in their early childhood. They tend to go through in multiple stages or neglect. They tend to attract partners that have like dark sides, or they discover that life isn't neon. It's actually can be very muggy and dark and dingy. And they have a really hard time trying to navigate that. And just like a scorpion, when they discover this, they go and they hide under rocks. This is where they really dive in and they're like, I don't want to do any of this shit. They then recluse. And this is like what brings, you know, that energy sometimes with Scorpio, how it's like dark purple and black and this, where they're hiding in like the back corner and under rocks because it's like, I could stay here forever because whatever it is out there, it's not safe for me. And when we get into the second stage of Scorpio, that is where we become the eagle. Because in the Scorpion stage, they want to hide. And again, it's because there's some sense of trauma, whether they're having to raise their parent or having to step up in big ways. It's almost like Scorpios have to grow up pretty quickly. I'm not speaking for all Scorpios, but for a majority, a lot of them have to grow up extremely quick and they become very mature extremely quick. And then we start seeing the immaturity and the childness and all of that coming out while they have the comfort of like, okay, I don't have to survive all the time. So then that starts to come out for them to heal. So what I'm saying with that is a lot of childhood wounds. But when we are in the eagle stage, this is where they're like, it's time to no longer hide. This is where we have to seek a different perspective. This is where we realize that I don't have to just protect myself with my stinger. I can actually go out and basically be in the offense. This is where they decide that they're tired or they don't want to hide or be scared anymore. And this is where they can figure out that success and satisfaction doesn't have to be in the same vein. You can have success and you can have satisfaction, and those can be different things, and those can come in all shapes and forms, right? So you can have friendships that give you love and a home and passion, but you can also have that to be a success, and you can also find satisfaction also having a partner and having a lover and having this. One person doesn't have to be everything, the end all be all. I live and breathe for you. And I'm using that as an example, but there's something here where Scorpio, once it feels strongly about, it attaches. And this is saying I can have it all. And this is where Scorpio is like, yeah, I can definitely have it all. And in other zodiac signs that I've talked about, it feels like the second stage for them is really like they're going through the trenches. With Scorpio, they actually go through the really messed up stuff in their Scorpion phase, because their eagle phase is all about them realizing that they can fly high, that they can soar, that they can be everything it is that they want to be, that there isn't anything that's holding them back. There isn't anything that, they have to just mold and bend to. This is saying that, again, they're in the offense. They can fly, they can see things from different directions. They're learning to become themselves. They're learning to blossom. They're learning to create. They're learning to break old habits and realize that like what you grew up in isn't that. Now, there is a part in the eagle stage where, like I mentioned, this childhood trauma that comes up, and overcoming this childhood trauma or large trauma, whatever it may be, overcoming this trauma is what allows them to see things from a bigger picture and fly and soar and all of that. So really that big stage is working through the trauma, but it's also realizing that you can be so much more, because usually the Scorpion stage is very dramatic. And in the eagle stage, they realize that failure is a part of being human, and failure can lead to a lot of success. And this is just shaping who they are. And then that is when we get to the third stage, which is the Phoenix. At this point in their life, this is where they learn to let go of the hurt, the loss, the pain, people that have scarred them, hurt them, made them feel less than. They've decided we're letting go of all of that. And just like a phoenix rises again, so does Scorpio. Scorpio understands that, yes, we've kind of had to reflect on everything that happened to us, and, we embrace the darkness because we feel safe there, like, going under a rock, because we understand what we can protect. And if we understand what it is, then we know how to protect ourselves. And in this Phoenix phase, it's like, I'm me, right? I can protect myself. I can also live life. I don't have to live scared. I don't have to live hurt. They see their true potential and they understand how to love. You don't have to force people or make a situation work because of the way that you grew up or what have you, whatnot. This stage is like, I can be whatever it is that I want to be, and I can love freely, I can love openly, I can give. Because one thing is that Scorpio loves deeply. They're definitely ride or die. They either like you or they don't like you. And they feel very passionately, and let's be honest, they can be very intense. But they're intense because they learned bullshit, there's no room for it here. And in the Phoenix stage, this is where they're really good at helping people that are also broken or lost, or, maybe on the not so light and fluffy, they've been through some shit. And Scorpio is really able to see that. They can help people through that if they choose to. But this is also saying they're very great at accepting who and how people are because of what they've been through. And this is where I say Scorpios can be the best motivators, encouragers. They will push you to do the best, but not in a way that feels like they're pulling you apart, that Virgo can sometimes come across as. This is like, I know you, I understand you, and I love you just the way that you are. And we can embrace both sides. And that's what makes Scorpio so beautiful, and this Phoenix stage so important and so majestic.